warm-up routine before like going into it?
It's really inconsistent, but most of the time I try to play like a game or two with deathmatch.
Okay. Does that work generally pretty well for you?
It's helped improve. Well, yeah, it's helped improve my aim, I feel like.
Sure. Okay. Sounds good. So, looking at your form here, you say, what do you have to get out of the session? A better understanding of being creative with my angles, how to assess the angle I'm going for is good in the situation. I'd like to better understand what's worth going for a dash in. My game plan is always where can I go? Where should I be? But I don't always find the answer if I'm too slow to find a solution. I want to better understand dynamic positioning. I would also like to learn tracer on a higher level. I'm not good with it like I am with Genji. I have similar hours spent on both heroes, but most of my tracer hours are from when I first started. And that's a classic one right there. Ironically, I was the opposite. Genji was my like first really full commit character, and he's
Hmm.
always been a character that like sometimes I go back and it doesn't flow as easily as it does with my other characters. Part of it's just because he's hard, but part of it is also because I feel like a lot of my learning hours were spent in that character, and it even built some bad habits. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So okay, makes sense. Makes sense. Now, for your playtime right now, I think I really love all your characters, but one thing they all have in common, as you were breaking it down, is that they're all super, super unique. And I think the challenge is going to be, can you be able to play all of those characters at the same level in terms of like their mechanical tricks? Like you look
Yeah.
about like Ash, Echo, Genji, Tracer, those are all tech heroes, right? All of them.
Mm.
And I think while your playtime is pretty solid, if I could offer a little recommendation, it would be to lower that to 3 heroes per month or per week, several weeks block, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I think that would allow you to kind of dial in and to specialize for whatever character you feel is most appropriate for the meta or whatever character you're enjoying most in the moment, and yet still have a pool enough to be able to flex around depending on the map or situation, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like Genji, Tracer, Ash, Echo, even if you were playing every day, that's like trying to learn all of those characters at the same time might be a little bit much, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, what 3 characters you choose, if you decide to stick with that, is really up to you. And honestly, I don't think that's necessarily even a choice you have to make. It's just a little bit of advice. That's all I'd say.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
All right. Doesn't mean that you can't play all 4 characters. It just wouldn't play them all four at the same time. You know, give one a rest for like 3 or 4 weeks, and then you could even cycle it out if you'd like to. All righty here. Any questions so far?
No questions.
So you talk about dynamic positioning. You talked about assessing the angle, being creative with the angle, and so on. It sounds like you've watched some of my videos, and I'm seeing that you are describe yourself as a YouTube faithful viewer. So I see you've done your homework, and you're talking about how do I actually apply some of the stuff that I've learned. What is your rank history? Where have you been rank wise, like the last year? Let's just start with the last year.
I was like silver, and then I think two seasons later, I went from silver to plat, no, silver to gold. Silver, actually, I started in season three, and in season four, I went from silver to plat. And
Okay.
then in season five, I was low diamond, but then I kind of quit playing rank for a while, and I think I started playing rank again in season seven, and I peaked diamond three.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And after I didn't play season eight because I just couldn't stand Malga. It was
Yeah,
awful.
understandable. Understandable.
And then I came back with all the changes in season nine, and I peaked Diamond three again. And then
Yep.
this season I hit Masters five.
Yeah, I see that. Okay. And so like a basically fairly steady increase in skill.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And why now? Why do you get coaching now? Do you feel like you've hit a plateau, or are you just taking things a little bit more seriously? You just figured now might as well now as opposed to any other time.
I feel like yeah, just I wanted more in depth. Like, well, yeah. I don't think
Yeah.
I've hit a plateau yet, but I don't know how to explain it. I feel like I do rank a lot. Like I hit Masters five, and then now I'm like almost at the bottom of Diamond.
Right. Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. What's your play? So, like, ignoring the whole like which heroes you should play, where are you at right now in terms of time played? Like this competitive season and the previous competitive season in terms of your
Oh.
DPS heroes. If you could pull up your career profile, that'd be great.
Um, hold on. I think 30. I think I have 100 this season, and the season before that I had almost like 200 hours.
Okay. And what's the breakdown of each hero?
Um, like 90 hours on Genji, like 10 hours on Tracer, and 7 hours on Echo.
Okay. Was that this season?
No, that was last season.
Okay. And
This
this season?
season, 30 hours on Genji, 10 on Tracer, and 7 on Echo.
And then what about Ash?
Oh man, Ash. I've played Ash about like 2 hours this season.
Sure. Okay. So is Ash is definitely the odd one out then.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess like this is the what I would say is like in your current breakdown, like your ratio of playing tracers definitely increased a little bit,
Hmm.
which is great if you're trying to improve your tracer. But I guess it's just going to be like your ratio is going to be what you generally where you want your skill level to be with the character. If Genji is like more important for you, and Tracer's just there's some situations where she's really good, and then Echo is more like when Genji's not working, I have to play Echo. Then that's kind of
Yeah.
like what I'm reading from your hero pool right now. There's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that. There's nothing wrong with that. For your goals here, I think like being able to improve your projectile aim because it's awful compared to my hit scan aim. Well, that's good if you're trying to improve your Genji aim, right? But if you were
Hmm.
trying to improve your Echo aim, you would need to shift more hours into your Echo. Um, and then long-term goals to be as comfortable as possible playing Genji even in hard situations. Well, in theory, at least with playtime, that's good, right? Putting 30 hours in Genji so far this season is good if that's what you're trying to do. Short-term goals, learning Tracer, maybe Echo, but mostly Tracer. So then again, short-term goals seems to line up with your playtime. Maybe just a little bit more time into Tracer. I would just always be evaluating like my goals and my playtime. Goals and playtime. Playtime is the most important thing when it comes to goals. When I'm working with like a plat diamond player, assuming they're not like booming after or mentally like going off the goop after one game, generally my first question is like, how much are you playing? Right? Not what are your goals? What's your level of understanding? Because that stuff is important, but it just comes down to playtime most of the time. So I would just challenge you to always be evaluating that playtime and comparing it to what you're trying to aim for, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing. I think like your goals line up fairly decently with your playtime, but just something to keep in mind moving forward here. Okay, so what do you feel is holding you back from improving? Maybe for you not holding you back, but maybe something to move on to is the creativeness of my positioning needs work, and my mechanics could also be a little bit better. I also need to understand the playstyle of Genji with a pocket because having immersing along with you makes it feel like a different game. I think my mechanics on Tracer need so much work because I can't stand dueling Cassidy. I blink left, I get 140, I blink right, I get hit dead. I can't be too close, I try to bet night, nade, or just to me hit, fed, GG. Okay, sounds good. I mean, we could talk about those two examples if you'd like to.
Yeah, I'd like to.
So I would be curious, do you have okay, let's talk about the Cassidy thing really quick. So let me pull up this. I think this will be easier if I just stream Overwatch. So let's go over each of your points here. So you talk about I can't stand doing. I blink left, I get 140. I blink right, I get hit dead. I can't be too close to try to bait out nade. Okay, so there's like a lot of ways of approaching the duel, but we'll talk about like the most fundamental way of approaching the duel. If I'm Tracer, my number one priority is to be able to get on top of the target with full blinks. So when you say about like I have to, if I blink close, I get flashbanged. Well, the ideal thing is that I should walk close, start to shoot, blink and turn to react to his movement, shoot. He turns, I blink again, I blink again, I blink again, right? And that's kind of like the goal there. The challenge comes when you are saying that like if I have to close the distance and he knows that I'm coming, then blinking close is a lot more dangerous, if that makes sense, right? Now, the good news is that you can still, even if you can't close the distance safely, if you have to use one blink to close the distance, you should still have a 1-2 combo and then recall if you don't like what you see. You kind of see what I'm saying? I hate to say skill issue, but it really is a skill issue. The biggest thing with Cassidy that you need to do if you're struggling with it is it's not the theory, it's your execution. So do you have, this is a great question, do you have anybody in your friends list that's Diamond Masters or Grandmaster on hit scan?
No.
Okay. I would find somebody, if you can, and grind it out. Or go into find a tryhard lobby. Let's see if it's on EU. That's going to be a great practice playing an EU ping. Are you East Coast or West Coast?
East Coast.
Perfect. So go into here and just pray that somebody's playing Cassidy. Put your PayPal on the match chat so if somebody clicks Cassidy, right? And find this Cassidy and just get your reps in over and over and over again because you're going to get the repetition that you need, right? The thing is like the theory is really simple. You need to approach him with as many blinks as possible. You need to move through him, not necessarily right on his butt, but like about 4 or 5 meters away. And you need to be able to clip when he's not looking, blink when he is looking. It's that simple, but it just comes down to skill. Can you do it? Can you do it quickly? Can you do it consistently? Can you do it and still aim well at the same time? And if you can't, well, get good.
Yeah.
I wish I had more feedback for you than that, but it's not like this isn't like Ana versus Winston mind games, or this isn't like setting up your Dragon Blade. It's pretty simple. You shoot, when he looks at you, you blink. It's that simple. The only thing I'd say there is when you talked about blinking sideways, you really need to be careful about letting him keep his crosshair at head height. You need to make him move his crosshair around, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, I'll show you one other thing. The reason why that's so important is it's not just about, I make him move his crosshair. Duh. But if I'm playing Cassidy, the number one thing that I can do is focus only in lateral movement. So if I can just move my crosshair like this, right, that makes my life so easy, right? Because I can keep it at head height. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you move 180, the problem is that you can't do this, I have to be very aggressive. So when I'm very aggressive, you see, and I go back to 180 again, even if I move it right there, see it's at like foot height, right? It's hard for me to keep it at head height when I do 180. There it is again, right? So if you're forcing him to do a 180 flick, unless he's just a crack addict, and unlike me, he's not going to be able to keep his crosshair at head height when he 180 flicks, if that makes sense. So that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, you need to get him to move. And then the Genji thing, I would like to look at a couple. Are we going to be looking at Genji today?
Yeah.
Perfect. Because what I'll do is I will look at this and be like, okay, what would you do with a Mercy Pocket? And we'll kind of do it as like a thinking exercise. All right. So we'll just review the game and then at random intervals, we'll okay, what would you do with a Mercy Pocket? Would you play differently? What would you do with this? What would you do with that? And we'll just treat it like that. Sound good?
Yeah.
But the TLDR is the only major thing that changes with a Mercy Pocket is you can take deeper flanks because you're less scared of getting poked out during your setup. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's the only really major change. Everything else is just kind of do what you do, but just do more of it, if that makes sense. Okay. Any other questions here?
No questions.
Okay. Takeaways. Make sure that playtime is mirroring goals. Tracer, get good. Find somebody that you can 1v1 if you can. I mean, that would be optimal. Is get into a Black Forest 1v1 with instant respawn and just do that for 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, over and over and over again. You're going to get really, really, really good at that matchup. Heck, you could even do it on TXCXX, the Legion Tower Control Center dual spot.
Yeah.
That would be even better. Beyond that, we'll talk about positioning. We'll talk about Mercy Pocket. And let's look at some gameplay here. Shoot me a code if you got one.
Does it matter which one I send you first?
Send me one where you have questions.
Okay. It's a longer one. I think it was like 24 minutes.
Sure. Got it. And then we'll get rolling. Obviously, if you have any questions at any point during the review, just let me know, all right?
Okay. It was an Echo gameplay, and like we did really well, but we still lost. And I feel like there was a lot I probably could have done better to help us not lose that game.
Okay, so you were Echo. Is this Echo all the way through?
Yeah.
Okay, so you would want to look at some Genji later, though, then I assume.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just do enough till we get a general idea of your Echo, and then we'll move on from there if that works for you.
That works.
All right. Any questions with Echo?
When do you? I don't think I have questions yet.
Finish your thought. Even if it's a dumb question.
Okay. What's too deep for like an angle for Echo? Because sometimes I go in pretty far.
Remember the Mercy Pocket rule?
It doesn't matter how deep you go because you have a Mercy.
Remember now apply that to when you have copy. Same kind of rule, right? You have self-sustain, right? Also depends on like if you have a health pack that's successful. But yeah, you are right to consider that question because you're talking about a character unlike Tracer that doesn't have self-sustain. Now, every hero does have the heal passive, so it is on paper you do, but you and I both know what we're talking about, right? It's just not as convenient. So it depends. It depends. Like, I'm looking at this situation right now. I'm looking at this map, and I'm like, oh, we have a Mercy Pocket, great. But really, how far of an angle are you going to get on point 1 of Route 66?
Yeah.
Right? Not much. But then let's talk about second point, right? Second point, man, you're going to go, you can go all the way around this way with a Mercy Pocket. You might even do that without a Mercy Pocket. You understand what I'm saying? Same thing with third point. You might flank through here and attack this way, and those things are just enabled more by Mercy Pocket. So the answer is, I would pay attention to the heal sustain that you have that can go with you. I'd pay attention if you have copy or not. But yeah, other than that, maybe softer angles. Very good question, actually. Okay. Now, I'm going to assume that you already know how the principle of playing Echo. So what we'll do is we'll hold you to a standard of you having somewhat of an idea what you're doing, but maybe you're like me and you're just not good at applying it.
I've seen you play Echo. Like, I kind of admire you. I am so newbie at Echo. This is maybe like the
okay.
game.
Can I get that in writing? I need to share that with my Twitch chat just so they can stop flaming me. But yeah, okay, we'll take a look here. Okay. And this is kind of what we're talking about when we're talking about, like, what does a Mercy Pocket allow you to do? So, like, if we talk about, like, the fundamentals of my DPS coaching, is taking an angle, playing to your range. First things first is, like, you're playing your range versus these guys, but really, who should you be sticking here? Brigitte, why?
Because she's the closest.
She's the closest, right? She's the most convenient. This is just too hard. So the first thing is to say, oh, my mechanics are bad, but honestly, the number one thing should be you're just going for the wrong target here. The other thing here in terms of range, like, is this a safe angle with where Hanzo is?
Yeah, no, this is a bit scary.
It is a bit scary. You have a Mercy Pocket. What are your options?
I could go to the right.
You could go all the way to the right, totally self-sufficient, and poke out. In fact, you could go all the way to the left and flank out this way and just take the high ground away from them, right? We're talking about your depths of your angle that are enabled by Mercy. This is one of them right here. And then in addition to that, if we talk about cheating, are you familiar with that term?
I don't think so. Oh, wait,
what about sandwich?
Down the middle.
Right.
I fly
this
over.
is it right here. Because the best approach here, and this one isn't too bad, but the best approach here would probably have been to go for this play from a setup from right side. So in other words, if you don't like where this is right now, what should your first option be? If you don't like what's happening right now, you're on the left side, what's the answer? It's not to go to the middle, it's to go to where?
I could fly to the right side.
You either flip-flop your angle, or you commit to the left side. Where do you commit on the left side? We've already talked about it.
Through tunnel.
Through tunnel, right? And you see how this all of a sudden lines up better. Because what you've done is you've created space and you don't even realize it. Watch the Kiriko and Brigitte's position as you take this angle away. Watch. Do you see what has now been opened up to you?
Yeah.
So if you were to take the tunnel, they've actually backed up directly into where you want to go. You see that?
Yeah.
So you're right. Right side would have been very good. And then you could have gone for this. Left side would have been very good. And you could have gone for this. And if you really don't like that option, you can go from left to right. I think that's okay. I'm not generally a huge fan of going directly, even with a Mercy Pocket. I think it just generally you want to avoid breaking the rules when you can, because it can put undue pressure on your Mercy. And this is what I like to call target watch, where you are just going for Hanzo because he's a squishy and he's slow. And you're not confident in your mechanical ability to kill other characters. And so what you end up doing is you end up cheating the system because you really want to kill that Zen or Widow or Hanzo or Ashe or Bastion, right? We all know the characters, right? And so, now we have ended up on a good position, though. So let's see what we do. Nice. And this is why I talked about the deeper flank. You see it? You have a Mercy Pocket, you can do this kind of stuff. If you did have a Mercy Pocket, you could, but it would just be a little bit harder. Good. I just want you to be playing a little bit more, I wouldn't say egotistical, but like more invested here, Let's go. Let's finish these kills off. Like, I think this is where it comes down, frankly, to at least half mechanics, because I look at this here and I'm like, she should be dead. Right, she should be dead. And then even this here, you shift up, Kiriko. I think maybe even you stay in supports here. But regardless, I think this is okay. Nice. Oh, where's the damage boost there? See, the damage boost is always there when you're not hitting shots, and then,
Yeah.
that's how it works. I think she got hacked. Okay, so you need to make a choice here. In fact, you need to make a choice right now. Let's say even before you go for Sombra. What choice, in terms of your creative positioning, your dynamic positioning, what's the choice here?
Oh, I could. Well, Ash is back there. I would say I could go down from the bottom of the tunnel and wrap around and be behind them, but I'd also get shot in the back by Ash.
I agree. So that's not going to work. So the real selection that I'm leading, I think you're thinking 2 steps ahead of me because I'm a little dumb, is I really just want you to decide what angle you want to hold. You've committed to here. So I think you just need to stay here. You can do that or you can do this, your choice. And so when this happens here, I think you need to make the choice right now. You need to, because the funny thing is you going after the Sombra is not scary at all. You crossing this way is not super scary, but you just need to go. You staying here is really bad. We get out, we're good. And now you just need to just play the game. In fact, here, I think in terms of the rotation, the only nitpick I have is that you just should have gotten there sooner.
Yeah.
Besides that, I think you played this one well. With or without Mercy Pocket. Was there a specific section of this VOD that you felt like you struggled with a little bit? Because we are winning fights here. It doesn't really bother me, but...
After the first round, it was like extremely hard to even get one kill. I think that's why we
So
lost.
from here on, or from the first round is like the attack or whatever?
Like, I think is when we were on attack. No, when they were on attack, it was hard to kill them. I think,
Okay. So let's finish this fight here just for the sake of experimentation, because I'm curious here, what do you see in terms of off angles here?
I could go to the left, because if I'm on top of the left, I could be up there where Sombra is, and if I have my Mercy Pocket, we can push her off. And then we'd also have the view on Brigitte and Kiriko.
I'll go farther than that. It's not you could, you should.
Yeah.
It's the best option. I think that obviously there's always a little bit of anticipation, like fear with Sombra, of course.
Yeah.
But really, this Ashe and Kiriko are controlling the sideline. I don't think right side is a legitimate option. It's too open, right? This is it. And the funny thing is this is actually one of the safer spots versus Sombra. Why?
Because she'd have to use her mobility to get up there.
You got it. There's a lot of verticality that's involved, so she has to actually commit to the play. And I know it's scary versus Sombra, but she probably has to commit her life here. So you need to make that adjustment, and you need to do it now. Like right now, there's just way too much time screwing around, frankly, right? You're just needed to take the angle and do it sooner. Let's actually see if you solve it. Okay, we're trying. You know what? I'm happy to see this. I hate this position, but what does this mean? You trying this?
That I'm thinking actively.
Right, and that's it, right? You're thinking actively. Now you're thinking the wrong things, but this will at least, this means experimentation. This means learning. And even here, you're starting to kind of feel the pain points where, like, okay, if I can close the distance here, this might actually work. And now she's dead. I just don't like the rollout, that's all.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, it's interesting because you brought up to me is you feel like you're not super creative with your angles and dynamic positioning. Is that in the match or in review afterwards?
In review afterwards, I feel, well, in the match mostly.
Okay. So, what's a solution then?
Reviewing.
Why is the solution to an in-game problem an out-of-game solution?
Because you get to have a better perspective of what's going on and what was around at the time.
Right. It's like the thing is like most people need to practice focusing in-game. But I think when you get in the habit of doing that, right? Like me, for example, I'm pretty good at doing that with most characters whenever I screw around on stream. I do need to back that up, follow that up with review to answer any problems that I have in stream, because you'd be surprised. I will go into a game and be like, where should I be right here? I think this makes sense. And it won't feel quite right. That's a moment for me to go into stream and review it afterwards. Because then I will answer the question, not just for that specific circumstance, but I will go, oh, I realized something. Whenever there's like a flanker, I get really scared of taking angles, but I just forget verticality. I need to remember that, right? And it's like, it's like the same reason why you would need to take the time to review your gameplay at all, because if all it took was just gameplay, then that's all we'd ever do. But reviewing gives you a quiet time to kind of self-reflect about tendencies, and I think we're seeing those tendencies like right now. Like you are reflecting, but you're neglecting verticality, right? And I don't know if you remember this match, but it might be a good idea to be like, why was I so reticent to take that left side? You know?
Yeah.
Why was I so hesitant here? Like even now, like this is still feels pretty ugly. So do you remember? Did you just not think about the other option? I think now, the last time this felt like it worked, so maybe that's why we're doing it again.
Yeah.
But like even Sombra here could be a demon on your Mercy.
I think I went this way because in my head I feel like I can out poke Ashe with Mercy, but if I didn't have Mercy, I wouldn't try to do that.
Well, the problem is that even if that was true, it's still 2 resources for 1.
Yeah.
And she's been able to not die to you. That's the key thing, right? She's been able to effectively trade with you back and forth and not really demand a lot of resources. Meanwhile, your team on core has been completely smoked. So of course you can out poke her, but by how much? And it's not just by how much, but could you be getting more value elsewhere, right?
Yeah.
It's like saying, you know, if I have a Mercy Pocket and a Harmony Orb as Widowmaker, I can actually, you know, outbrawl a Reaper. Maybe. Why would you? Why would you do that? You know. So, okay, let's go to your defense, where I think you felt like you had a special pain point, and we'll take a look there. Okay. Any questions so far?
No questions.
Great point about the out poking on the Mercy Pocket, because that's actually such an interesting way of looking at it, and I'm glad we were able to talk about that, because I think we all have those moments where we have like reasoning behind, and you're like, wait, that reasoning doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Myself included. Like here, for example. So you've been poking here, but why do you not want to stay here? What has felt bad about this? Because I actually like this.
I don't know. I feel like it would be easier than for them all to look up at me.
Yeah, I agree. And this here provides an angle with cover, full stickies. Yeah. I just don't think you realize they TP'd. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
To be honest, it just felt like you reacted a little slow. That's all. And they have really invested into beating you, haven't they?
Yeah. Fair Diva would not leave me alone.
I mean, that's fine. Just keep shooting. I feel like, okay, so I'm glad we got the full stickies here, because with the way what I'm looking at right now is, for lack of a better term, just a lot of downtime, right? Where it's like, you know, we need to be putting out like consistent and constant pressure from an angle, right? So while this was okay an idea, and then even that full stick on the Ana was okay an idea, there's just long periods of inaction, right? And I think, especially when you have the Mercy Pocket, that allows you to kind of push back that pain point of, oh, I get poked out. Well, you don't get poked out anymore. That's gone. So I want you basically putting pressure on an angle over and over and over and over again. I see this here. I'm already flying up, and I'm putting pressure on the Symmetric. Get her out. I'm breaking teleport. Oh, shoot, Ashe is shooting me. I'm sneaking up on the Ashe. Make the Diva come after you. Okay, I'm going to fly out again. Like, you need to be a constant threat. And I think that's maybe where the Mercy thing changes a little bit, where there's a little bit more consistency with your pressure and less playing around cycles, because you have more resources invested into you. So you don't need to play for these bursts of value. You're constantly providing value. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I know you're maybe a little bit nervous about the Diva here, but even here, like, I might just try to, I need to kill the Sim.
Yeah.
You know, like, I know you're concerned about the Diva. Maybe even shoot the Diva instead of the Sim. I don't know, but like, you're hiding here in front of double support pocket, and that Symmetra just walks in front of you. I mean, I'm telling you, look at this from the Symmetra's perspective. She is looking at a damage boosted Echo and a Sojourn, and she's just chilling, right? There needs to be a little bit more, I wouldn't say ego, but it's just, you have more resources than she does. So you have to get more value than she does.
Yeah.
Good. Sure. That's fine to anchor point. I felt like I was to anchor point, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Understandable. Okay, so we will... So this indirectly kind of being answering some of our questions with Genji, right? With the Mercy Pocket, right?
Yeah.
Good. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, no. That sucks. That's okay. That's not your fault. Okay, I like this. Again, active brain.
Our second. So I think, yeah, we got really rolled on second point.
Yeah, I mean, my only complaint here is you just needed to trust the voices. You need to keep going. You needed to keep going. Because you've lost the Mercy Pocket. I don't know what she's doing here. Yeah, so she's plus one-ing your Hanzo, which is fine. But then that means that you need to be taking the deeper angle here, because this is too far. This is not greedy enough. You see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just that's just you trolling, frankly. You needed to take the deeper angle, because if you go from this angle here, let's actually go back to when you first peaked. Not only that, but you got your Mercy killed too. So you're here. I mean, you see the D.Va just committed boosters. I mean, Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
You know, even if you die here, like if you just go full, because I know I would. I'm an idiot. I'm just committing here. I'm committing full flight stickies. I'm 2v1ing or I'm dying. But you know what? You're going to win so much space here, because these guys are not going to be able to look through at all. In fact, you're going to save your Mercy's life because, oh, we can actually win this, right? Like this is a huge mistake for you. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Restoring health systems.
Okay. Can't poke that. That's okay. Go back and do it again. Good. Get in, do it again. Right here, yep, fly in. You have a Mercy Pocket, you fly in. Good. Full sticky. That's unfortunate. You should get her. That's fine. That's not...
I was struggling.
Okay, that's fine. It's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. You just saved the best for last. That's all. Yeah, see? There you go. I knew it. But that was a little bit closer, because it felt like you were still playing an angle. You were not cheating the rules, but you were just doing more. You were just doing more. You notice that? That felt a lot better. Okay, let's keep going here. Now this is another situation with you with the Mercy Pocket. So you have choices here. You're gonna spend more time poking here. Again, not totally disrespecting the Ashe, but like you have Mercy Pocket, I want you putting out pressure. You have constant healing. You have constant damage boost. So why not use it right now? Right? What are you doing? You know?
Oh, yeah.
Or you do something really cheeky and you flank and you wait for D.Va boosters and you go super aggressive on backline. Those are your choices. Yeah. Because I have Mercy Pocket, it's not as scary for me to get caught with Here's D.Va. I can still disengage and live. Right?
Yeah, my Reaper's back there too.
Yeah. Unfortunate. Like, I would just be very frustrated as your Mercy, frankly, where I would feel like I'm giving you Blue Beam and you're just not doing anything with it, even though there is fighting going on. You're just kind of waiting for these assassinations. But the funny thing is you go for these assassinations, but then look at your positioning. Like, what? This is not the most aggressive play, right?
Yeah.
So you're positioned in a poke angle, but playing for assassinations, even though you have a Mercy Pocket. You need to make a choice. You need to make a choice. Either I'm going to put out consistent range pressure when possible with the Mercy Pocket, or I'm going to go for the backline assassinations with the Mercy Pocket. Let's keep rolling here. Okay. I think we have... Yeah, okay. Any questions so far?
I have a question that's irrelevant to like this. It's about Sojourn. She's probably like my third actual most played character. No, my fourth. And I wanted to really play her like at the beginning of the season, but I just feel like it's not worth it because she's so bad.
I agree.
I tried so hard. I dropped like a 30 kill and I won a game, but every game after that, it was just losing, and it just feels terrible.
I think she's bad.
Yeah.
I think it's bad. I would play her on an ult if you really want to, but just basically she's at a point in time where she's going to get some number tweaks. You just have to wait.
Okay.
That's my prediction anyway. Yeah. But she is one of the characters that I would not be. Yeah, I would not hesitate from recommending you from not playing. She's pretty bad right now. She's pretty bad. You have Mercy Pocket. What's available to you? More deep flanks left. More deep flanks right. Okay, Arissa's in. What can we do?
Peek below. Like, because there's definitely Symmetra's there, and then Ashe is also there, but that might be
Remember
scary,
here.
right?
We're here.
Oh, yeah.
We're here.
Yeah, that could work.
I mean, even without the Mercy Pocket here, this is just not a good angle for you, right? At least in the current situation with the hit scan poking you out. Like, I mean, look at the absurd mechanical things you have to do just to do any damage from this, right?
Yeah.
So it feels like you're in kind of a very poke-oriented mindset right now, but you're poking from a very conservative angle with a Mercy Pocket into hit scan, right? You strike one, strike two, strike three. Where if you were to be poking, you'd want to be poking from a much more aggressive angle, or even poking from a much more aggressive angle, or you wouldn't even be poking at all and just be going for backline assassinations. And again, that doesn't just apply to the Mercy Pocket. I think even without Mercy Pocket here, you're just not pressuring from this angle. You're just not pressuring from this angle. Now, you might look at this and go like, oh, ult charge-wise, I've got the same amount of ult charges as my other DPS. Yes, but you have a Mercy Pocket.
Yeah.
And so if you didn't have a Mercy Pocket, this would just be feeding. You do have a Mercy Pocket, so it's still feeding, but it's just less obvious.
I think it's because I've heard people say Echo is like Genji, so I try to play her like Genji, but because I feel like she has more range, I try to be more pokey.
Right,
I shouldn't be.
Right, and you can, but it's just not versus hit scan. Like pokey is always relative, right? If I'm playing Reaper here, and I read in the patch notes that they've tightened my spread, right? And I see Baptiste here, and I'm like, I can just poke this Bap out. No, you can't. More pokey does not mean that poke out an Ashe.
Yeah.
You understand? More pokey means that, I can do more pressure to, like, let's say, a Diva if she was up top. Or a Rhine Shield if they were up top. Or a Genji, for example, might take an angle like this here and not really feel like at this particular range that you're doing too much damage, but an Echo can. An Echo can do a lot of damage here, right? So, in relation to Genji, yes, more range. But that does not mean that you can challenge hit scan either.
Yeah.
Stay here. Keep shooting. I don't care about beam. Keep going. And then if you get low, do that. Exactly. So this is better. This is better. So was it mechanically fluid? Not really. But you poke, get a little bit low, shoot out, shift. She's getting double pocket. Go back in. See, like, do you see what you're demanding here? Here's what you're demanding. You're demanding that Symmetra needs to receive 24/7 support pocket, otherwise she dies. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Why is that balanced?
Because I'm also getting resources.
Because you are getting a 24/7 support pocket. So if you were poking something and not forcing that something to get 24/7 support pocket, you suck.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of this right here was really good. I want to see more of this. And notice that was close range. Now, you don't have to get close range with a Symmetra, but it just so happened to be the angle that you wanted, and that was fine. Let's go. Next target. Who's going to demand 24/7 support pocket now? Is it going to be Diva? Is it going to be Ana? Yes, right there. Bam. Then go right back and do it again. You see it?
Yeah.
You wouldn't describe what you're doing as bad without a Mercy Pocket, right? You just wouldn't be able to stay here as long. You notice that?
Yeah.
So the difference between you and the Mercy Pocket is not really changing your positioning. It's just changing how long you can stay sustainedly poking from that position.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Without a Mercy Pocket, you might be there for a brief moment, out, then back, then out, then back. With Mercy, it's just consistent and constant, even if it's a deeper angle. Sure. Even with a cap here, I mean, you need to win this fight, you know? Good. Yeah, good. I really love the fact that you just really prioritized in taking that top right and you didn't really care who you copied, right? I just need to win that top right, and you're right. It was crucial. Okay. Would this position be feeding without a Mercy?
No. I don't think so.
Not really. Because you're about to fly out, right? Would this be feeding without a Mercy Pocket?
No, because I can also just get away.
But because you have a Mercy Pocket, how does that change how you play right here?
I can stay longer.
You could just stay and shoot a little bit longer. Right? So here you drop. I think it could have shot a couple more times before dropping, right? Maybe just catch the ledge and just put pressure. But yeah. And here I think with the symmetrical, I think you just have to go commit. I think you just have to commit. Yeah, I think this is wise. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, let's keep going. Actually, I want to try and finish this VOD before we look at Genji, if that works for you.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think we should have time. I don't mind running a few minutes over if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So maybe the reason why this position didn't feel so good is the theory of what you're doing was good, but how long can you stay and poke here?
Not too long.
Why?
Because the payload will move past and they'll all move past.
And you can't, right, and you just can't see anything. Exactly. So then the angle here, it's tricky actually. But what do you think?
I could stay there, but after I saw them go back, I could try and move through the tunnel on the top right.
I think so too. I think this is the play. I think you're definitely going to get dove and cleared out here, but make that diva commit her boosters onto you. And then fly out, live, poke her out, and then retake the angle. I think if you manage your shift here, I don't think the diva should ever kill you with a mercy pocket.
Yeah.
I think you'll be forced to leave, but I don't think she should ever kill you. And I think there's just as much of a chance that you can kill her. Because the alternative is where you're here and you really don't know what to do. And it clearly doesn't feel all that good.
Yeah.
Okay, just waiting. I don't hate this because of where the card is, right?
Yeah.
This is fine. Yep. Sure. Pokey poke. I mean, you're seeing this. We just keep going, and we just keep going, and we keep going, and keep going, and we keep going. Even that right there, right? Look at that. If you had been without a mercy pocket, I might have said peeking this aggressively into a diva would be kind of silly, at least for as long as you did. But you have mercy pocket, so you just keep going, and you keep going, and you keep going. I think the only mistake here, as you can imagine, is that I don't think this was earned, right?
Yeah.
I think once you kill Bap here, where do you stay?
Up there.
Stay, right? Keep pressuring, keep poking, boosters. Right? Again, make them commit boosters. Don't give this Ashe an angle. Make this Ashe have to work for her angle. Okay, good. We get a kill. I was going to be concerned. Okay, it's fine. Ends up working out just fine. Oh, yes. Merry Christmas. One of the more satisfying things in the game. Yes. Keep shooting, keep shooting, keep shooting, keep shooting, keep shooting. Okay, this is 2 in the open.
Yeah.
But I will say, compare this to the first round when they TP. Honestly, just compare this to the first round, period. And the amount of damage that you've been doing. It's kind of funny. I can feel you growing more comfortable with it.
Yeah.
The more this round goes. Nano Diva, and you're fine. Now, she did get slapped, but you're okay. The problem here is what?
Target priority.
Yeah, I just don't think you know where to go, and I think you need to be a little bit more deliberate about your cover usage, right? That as well. I will also say that you're down one, which doesn't help anything. But yeah, I think that's mostly it. Now, we got one more juicy fight here. Oh, wait, no more. We have more than one more. Okay,
I trolled last fight, I think.
That's okay.
If I remember correctly.
You have mercy pocket. What should you do?
Be aggressive. I could have been aggressive on right side or left side.
Or left side, but then how would you rotate? You kind of see with my camera, right?
Yeah.
Rotate this way. Go soup, because if you get poked out by Ashe here, it doesn't matter. I have a mercy pocket. But exactly, yeah, I think this or this might have been even better. Your choice.
Yeah.
But there's just a whole lot of nothing. You see this? There's just a whole lot of nothing. You're not really consistently taking an angle that makes any sense, period. All right, I'm ready for you. Yeah. I'm ready for the troll. Oh, I see.
Adaptive circuits engaged.
Oh, I think they had... Oh, never mind. It might have not been this game. They had given up on the point, so I went anyway.
I mean, that was a bit of a troll. You could have waited at least another 5-10 seconds before you did that, but yeah. Okay, so for Echo, before we jump into Genji, what do you got? Simplify it as much as you can.
Consistently staying on an angle.
Consistently staying on an angle. Reading the situation. Mercy pocket equals doing echo things, just doing them for longer. change your approach much. Anything else?
I can't think of anything else.
There were a couple other details. I think that's the most important stuff. Let's look at some Genji.
Oh. Please.
Got it.
My replay code's having like issues. Oh, it fixed. Okay, never mind.
Perfect.
Ready for battle.
Okay. Any questions?
No questions.
Mercy Pocket Genji. Well, actually, probably not, given the Pharah. Oh, well, never mind. Actually, this Mercy can't quite make up her mind. Okay. Yep. Yeah, I was gonna say definitely deep and right. You look at this situation here. Where the heck are you supposed to off angle from here? Has to be deep. Has to be deep. The good news is whenever that's the case, whenever you're like, I really don't see a good like soft off angle, that generally means that there's a really good hard angle, right? Because look at this composition with all the hit scan. They're just totally naked at this on it, just dying instantly.
Yeah.
The only problem here is you just recognized it too late. Like this should have been 5 seconds ago, 10 seconds ago. That's all. So let's talk micro here. So first things first, hit your shurikens. Second thing, this moment right here is really important. How can you give yourself an advantage in this duel without using a cooldown?
I mean, aiming for head level, waiting for her to approach the corner, and for me not to peek the corner.
Well, you're both peeking the corner, no?
Oh yeah.
So then how do you change your approach on this corner?
Oh, I could wall climb. Could do that. And then I'd be above her, and she'd have to.
And then
wall
even
climb.
better is you still have your double jump.
Yeah.
So your wall climb over her head, right click, double jump up and over. You literally give yourself a tracer dash.
Yeah.
Think about how to tracer take this duel. Not like this. So why are you taking it like that?
I never thought of it like that.
You get what I'm saying? Like you have an advantage in this peak, right? So don't play it dirty. The only time you'd ever want to peak evenly is if, well, when? What cooldown do you have that rewards you for peaking evenly?
Deflect.
Deflect, right? So like if you get somebody really low and you know that they're going to panic, peak straight with deflect head height.
Yeah.
Right? And then heck, you can even peak with deflect straight head height. Don't get what you like. Wall climb up and over, cancel your deflect, take the rest of the duel from there. So really, the easy answer is, oh, you know, shuriken actually. But there's a lot more that was involved in that duel than just that, right? And to be fair, you did create a lot of space. You were very late on the angle. You missed your shurikens and you played the duel terribly. But look at the space you created. Look at the cooldowns you forced. Do you see it?
Yeah.
This should be a lost fight, but this is not a lost fight because of the angle that you took. And the best part about it is you're still here. Now, this is trolling. Why? We can see through walls, but obviously.
I think I heard. I don't remember if I heard him coming, but because there's 3 people here now.
Right. And what's the status of your cooldowns?
0.
Okay. I underestimated your clutch potential.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then
never
I got
mind.
unlucky.
But yeah, I think that's a very silly repush there. You need to give it respect. Because this is like, okay, so you know what you're doing? This is where we can tie it all into a nice tidy package. What happens with the Mercy Pocket here?
I die and she dies.
Okay.
Oh, actually, no. I stay here longer and probably.
I think you're you wouldn't push here, but you can probably be a little bit more confident about taking this duel because, you know, it's short range, you have cover. You're not doing it sillily. Is that even a word? Foolishly. But you are like, I don't necessarily have all the cooldowns I need because I have the health. But yeah, you don't have Mercy Pocket, so this isn't going to work. You need your cooldowns. So you can kind of see right there how the cycles of pressure are a lot more important without a Mercy Pocket.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, yeah, I think this is fine. Obviously, you had to be careful with the sandwich. I think you're aware of that. But doing so briefly and then, you know, being aware of where you could get sandwiched, you see that? Like, you knew If I turn here, I could get shot here. If I turn there, I could get shot there. And so, like, honestly, I'm okay with it. You were aware of the disadvantages, and you played appropriately. I'm okay with it. Oh my gosh. You just
I
got
didn't even know
destroyed.
she was up there.
That's crazy. Should be okay. What? I thought this was still winnable. Am I crazy?
Oh, I didn't even know he did that.
Oh, I guess your Pharah is dead. Wow, wait, what happened to your team? Okay, never mind, not winnable. Never mind, disregard. I thought that there were more people, but your teammates died quickly. Okay. So I'll give you some slack that one. That one was a little bit unfortunate. You know, Ashe just smoked. I respect it. I love the approach. Okay. And I think here it's just about urgency, right? Like, so as your Sigma's walking forward, take the angle. Let's go. Are you guys playing for Nanoblade?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa.
I can see.
I don't remember it. No, because he didn't. I think he used Nano in the fight before. I
Well,
was just waiting.
he's at 94, so he is close. Like, you could make this work if you wanted to. So, okay, so let's just, for the sake of the argument, just for the sake of the mental exercise, you have to not use the right flank here. What could you do? You're not allowed to use the right flank here. Because if you should have been, if you wanted to use the right flank, you should have already been there, like ready to go right now. Okay, so you're not going to use it. So then, where do you go instead? Remember the echo first point kind of like exercise. Where do we go? Where do we go? What do you think?
I could go where my Sigma is and deepen the angle and go behind where the Ashe is on high ground.
Ah, it's perfect. Yes. Yes. Again, going back to it, if you don't recognize these things in the moment and something feels bad, you need to go into the VOD and study the problem again. Because I will say one thing. You can't memorize positions in terms of like matchups entirely, but I promise you, this situation that we just described right now, where you might want to deepen the angle on left, that's going to be something you do in Blizzard World all the time.
Yeah.
Now that you're thinking about it now, right? Maybe not in the exact same situation, but you've kind of built a new tip or trick that you can pull out. And right now, I'm really concerned about your setup here. Because you're just late. You're just late.
I was playing for Nano.
And honestly, here, like, I respect the Nano here, but like, I'm not even sure if this is the most consistent, setup. If you could just do it from here instead, I think that's probably a little bit easier. You know,
that would have been way better.
I think you deflect here. I think this is too much disrespect. I mean, it really is. It has to be a slash dash, otherwise she's going to sleep you, you know? And I would go as far to say that, like, I would right-click dash to through here, or maybe even right-click dash to cover and try to make the sleep dart with the cover instead. But I would say never just rely on them missing a sleep dart that easy. That being said, nice. Also, what the frick? Okay. Okay. Any questions?
No questions.
We continue then. Looking at the situation here. So you tell me, where is going to be your playground on this map?
Definitely not right here, but to the left side underneath them.
Yes, so this is where it's a perfect example of like how Mercy does not let you cheat the game. You have to still play by your rules. You don't go, oh, I have Mercy Pocket, I have better poke than a Cassidy. No, you don't. And even if you did, it's still 2 resources for 1, just like the Echo. What the Mercy Pocket allows you to do is to do stuff like this, or to do stuff like this, and just to do it longer or easier, right? And certainly if you were to poke, at least maybe you can consider, like, obviously not now, but at some point maybe flanking around through here. But yeah, this is not going to work. And the best part about it is if your Mercy ever abandons you, it's not like, oh no, I messed up. No, this is where you wanted to be anyway. Good. Good. Nicely done. I mean, no complaints. I mean, immediately, like, everything is just fine and dandy. Yeah. So this is good. You're just probably going to need to back out at some point just because of where the card is.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yep. No complaints. Bob is MIA. Okay. What's the play? Because you're playing Sniper Genji, not going to work.
I could go back out and peek the Alari.
I think so too. I think you need to peek here, because if you just turn the corner here, you would see Rem, or you would see this, or you'd be able to no wall climb, or you'd see the Bob and know that, oh, I can actually wall climb up here, and this Bob's not going to be a problem, right?
Yeah.
You just can't do this, especially with a Mercy Pocket.
Yeah.
Right? It's not so much that you, I have, okay, basically here's what it is. The Mercy Pocket just amplifies whatever you do. When you play well, you're going to get double the value. When you play poorly, you're going to get double the value, or half the value of what you should get, because you don't have a Zenyatta shooting shield, or an Ana healing your tank, or an Kiriko providing pressure, or an Life we were pulling the wrong person, right? You have negative value almost.
Yeah. I just get this concept when I'm playing with a Mercy, because like, when I started first playing the game, I had a Mercy Pocket duo, and I always felt bad because I felt like whatever position I was taking, I was getting them killed, so I try to kind of play safe.
Yep.
This is making me rethink it.
That's your Mercy's. Yeah, that's your Mercy's responsibility. And a lot of the things that they can do with verticality, grace period of beam, in terms of like breaking it behind cover and Valkyrie, that's not your responsibility. Because the only thing that's your responsibility is playing your best cover. If you notice as well, remember when we talked about Echo earlier, and I said, don't chase the Hanzo cross first point, take the angle on left, take the angle on right. Guess what? That's really helpful for Mercy.
Yeah.
If you're staying in the periphery of fights and like kind of like approaching things like this, and then moving to this, Mercy can live all day long. If you were to just like, let's say they were on high ground and just kind of run it down this way, that's where Mercy can live. So in your own quest for self-preservation through intelligent positioning, you will be preserving your Mercy's life as well.
That helps a lot.
Yep, no problem. Prioritize cover, your Mercy will benefit. I like your approach here. This is good. It's stressful. I
don't even know if I got away. I think. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, look at the space. Just look at the space. Watch the space. It's hilarious to watch. A part of it's the back window, but regardless, you see. And not only that, but you're actually still in a good position to continue to do pressure. You've stayed on the angle. This is good. And you notice the Mercy Pocket? What did the Mercy Pocket do?
Play cover.
It amplified, and it did, right, exactly. Yeah. You were in a good position, and it was a good play. So it just amplified the good play. It made it even easier to do the already good thing. You see? It's perfect. No complaints. Nice job. Mercy Pocket will never compensate for this. Remember.
Yeah.
I know you're not like, you're just like, I'm just poking a little bit here. But you also need to be thinking, where do I want to be? Long term. Are they going to contest me here? In which case, I probably want to kind of hug here so they can rotate back. Do I want to rotate around high ground? Do I want to rotate around the flank? You got to start thinking about these things because it's in the interest of being ready for when the time comes. And they're trying to catch the Mercy. I got you. So, it just terrible mechanics, right? Like, it happens to the best of us. We just kind of get lost in the sauce. Do you like what this is without Mercy Pocket?
Yeah, kind of, because I'm pretty sure I could just back out.
Yep, I agree as well. The only problem here besides mechanics is what, given the context of what you see right now? Do you see it?
How all four of them are all together. They're on top of each other.
Okay. Look at the payload. Look at your team. Look at the enemy team. What should you do?
Maybe wait a little bit?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think you should wait. Even here, I think you just deflect, disengage, rinse and repeat. I don't care if your Mercy pops Valk. Pop Valk and shoot the tank from the off angle. These guys are so far out of the fight right now, this Sigma should just die. or the Sigma will get all his cooldowns forced and forced out. You forced a nano defensively. Like, I appreciate the opportunity that you saw there, but I think the more important thing is that you're kind of fighting by yourself right now.
Yeah.
And then obviously you don't really know what you're dashing for.
Yeah, I didn't know where to go for.
Well, that being said, it still creates a lot of space, and there was an opportunity to win that fight, but yeah, that one hurts for sure. Yep. Would this have worked without a Mercy pocket?
Yeah.
Is this safe for Mercy?
Yeah, because she has the bridge and wall there.
Is this safe for Mercy as well?
Not Emperor. Well, if she's back there, yeah.
Do you see what I'm talking about with the grace period?
Yeah.
Look at the beam. That's ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't get the kill, she'll try to heal you. I mean, look at this. She'll try to pocket you, so you either die or you live. If you live, it's because you got the kill, in which case she can be comfortable to do the bounce, right? You know the GA tech, right? She bounces in, she bounces out, back to cover again, abuses the grace period. In fact, she could even GA all the way across, but notice that she doesn't have to go in front of Sigma, she doesn't have to go in front of Cassidy, because you stay on the outside. Good job. Really, really nicely done. Really, really nicely done. In fact, the only reason your Mercy dies is because...
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Accretion into high noon. But yeah, nice job. This is maybe the best fight we've seen from you this entire game. It's just a shame that your team decided to throw at that exact same moment. Okay. Let's finish this. Any questions?
No questions.
Okay. There's been a lot of little micro details sprinkled in here, maybe more than some of my other Genji VODs. So if you need to go through and watch it again and just take some notes, I would recommend it. I might forget some of the things that I said because I'm old. You just need to commit. You need to commit. Either way. You look at this and you go, this is too far. Okay, so then what do you do? Two choices.
I could commit to fighting with the rest of my team, or I could have just walled.
In which case, where would you need to be?
I could be behind them. I could have went behind them.
Right here, right?
Yeah.
Or you commit to the Ashe. How do you do that?
Dashing.
Yeah.
Or
dash
walking
to
right
statue.
side.
Dash to statue, then approach and see what happens from there. She's already used dynamite. Something to consider. You just need to commit. You can't stand there in limbo because that gets you killed. Yep, I think this back off is fine, given where your team is positioned. Would this position work without a Mercy pocket?
Yeah, it would.
Okay. I think the biggest problem I have is just maybe a lack of value early on with the Ashe kind of confusing you. And that's mostly it. And that, honestly, your team is controlled. I'm not going to lie with you. Again, nothing that wouldn't have been acceptable without a Mercy pocket, so it's fine. We need to stand in the payload's way, Genji says. Genji confirmed silver. Thoughts so far?
I think this is fine.
I think so too. Didn't even cost you a cooldown. I'm gonna be real, your team sucks. It's just one of those games. There's still plenty to work on though.
Yeah.
Like that first fight was like atrocious, right? And I think even here, the concept of like tracking that they are not actually all on cart right now and they're actually pushing top, you just had no idea that they were there. And so then you're angling here, not realizing that these guys are pushing your angle here. This is a 2v2 you can take, but you have to know it's coming.
Yeah.
You know? So that gets your Mercy killed. But really, I think, like, obviously it's defense, so it's a little easier. Nice tracking there. But, like, this has been much better. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. This is never going to work. This is never going to work.
But yeah, I should have been down to the right where the door is.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's you're just gonna get poked out immediately, so I wouldn't even say that. But like, then you can just do this here, right?
Yeah.
Right. Like, there's options here, right? Like, I think that your soldier positioning is cheeks. He should be on the top right instead. You should have changed positions with your soldier, but like, whatever. Oh gosh, both ults kited out. At least they use beat. You're gonna get grabbed. You're gonna get grabbed.
Yeah,
you're
I
gonna
knew
get
they were
grabbed.
gonna grab. I had to get out.
It's a setup, man. Like, I don't think this changes the result of this game, but like, I don't like this. This concerns me. You know, like you shouldn't have been here. Even just being here. And I mean, come on, this is free trades right here. This game is probably not winnable, but I guarantee you get at least 1 or 2 kills that allows your team to recontest this. Guaranteed. So there's still, I think like the key thing here is that like you guys are getting like major snowball, not your fault, but like still things to work on. Okay, so your team sucks, TLDR, classic Genji. What do you need to work on? What are the priorities here?
Well, depending on where I am, what angle I should be taking, and how deep I should go.
Okay, we're continually evaluating what angle I should be taking. Review will help. Same with Echo. Review just to give you more ideas. What else?
I should be using more of Genji's kit to engage in duels like wall climbing and double jumping.
Okay. Utilizing wall climb, double jump, and duels, especially around corners. And so I would say like that's kind of vague. So what I would say is practice utilizing the wall climb when when dueling somebody in a corner. Like anytime you can get a duel, just practice and see how you can utilize it. Very, very useful tip. What else?
I think I should be aware of where I'm standing. Like if this is poke range or not, I could be somewhere else.
Yeah, it's because you have. Give me a better way of describing that, or better point for you to practice there.
I should be somewhere where I'm a shotgun character and not somewhere I'd be like as an Ash.
Get angles, especially with Mercy Pocket. Don't get baited into 2v1 poke situations. I can poke with Mercy. No, you can't. I mean, obviously, there's a nuance there. You know, again, you can poke a tank, you can poke a Reaper, but most of the time, you're still playing Genji similar ways, but essentially just doing more. That's all. Okay, any questions?
No questions.
All right, mate.